Well, welcome back. We're back to Coffee with Job. We're at number 107. It's Tuesday morning, and we're into chapter 35. Then Elihu said, "Do you think this is just? You say I'm in the right, not God. Yet you ask him, what profit is it to me, and what do I gain by not sinning? I'd like to reply to you and to your friends with you. Look up at the heavens and see. Gaze at the clouds so high above you. If you sin, how does that affect him? If your sins are many, what does that do to him? If you are righteous, what do you give to him? Or what does he receive from your hand? Your wickedness only affects humans like yourself, and your righteousness only other people." Well, is that true? I mean, do you ever ask, what do I gain? I remember one time I was a student and I was living in a town in Scotland called Livingston, travelling into Edinburgh to study. And I remember one time, I lived in this fairly poky wee council flat. I remember one time looking out my window, and this didn't happen often, but this one time it did. There was a group of young guys heading off to the snooker hall and then going out for a night drinking and everything else. And I thought, what am I doing? Look at them. And sometimes we can do that. We can envy the wicked. You say, what do I do by trying to be good, if you like, by trying to not sin? Why shouldn't I just get drunk or sleep around or do what everyone else is doing? Because sometimes it seems to me as though the wicked prosper, and sometimes it seems as though the righteous suffer. What's the point of being good? And that's Elihu is saying, that's what Job is asking. Now, Elihu's answer is a very interesting one. I'm not sure I entirely agree with it. He says, look at the sky. Does your sin affect the sky? Yet God is transcendent above you. And he's saying, really, that your sin doesn't affect God. You cannot change God. The reason I'm saying I'm not convinced about that, I'm convinced you can't change God. But I'm not convinced it doesn't affect. Why? Because, for example, we read in the times of Noah, it grieved the Lord that he had made humanity, so great was the wickedness on the earth. Or we think about Psalm 51, against you only have I sinned, and in your sight done this ill. That's what David said after his sin was pointed out to him, and he said, I didn't sin against Bathsheba, the woman he committed adultery with, her husband who he murdered, the child who ended up dying. But he said, my sin was against you, O God. My sin was ultimately against you. And I think that's true. We sin against God. When we do things that are wrong, it's against God. In our culture, people say, oh, what harm does it do? It's just me. I do what I want. So I could decide to behave in a certain way. And you say, what harm does it do? Well, it affects lots of different people. That's what he says here. Your wickedness and your righteousness affects other human beings like yourself. That was certainly true in David's case, and it's certainly true in ours. For the sake of the community, for the sake of your family, sin isn't just individual. It isn't just me at the center. It's all the ripple effects that happens with that as well. Sin impacts on other people, and righteousness impacts on other people. One of the sad things while we were away was the death of a lovely lady, the widow of Murdo McCritchie, who was the minister in Stornoway. Annabelle's best friend Mary is her daughter, and Kate, her daughter, and a family that we've known. And Marilyn was just an absolutely lovely lady. And I would say this about her. I would say that she's better off in heaven, but the world's worse off without her. There's a goodness in people who seek to follow Christ wholeheartedly. They're still sinners. They still do things that are wrong. But overall, the balance of their life is one in which the goodness of God is reflected, and it's for the benefit of the whole of society. It's these people who are salt and light. So I don't think that our sin or our lack of sin, I don't think it's something that we can determine and say we're not going to do this and therefore we're going to be right with God. We need something much more deeper than that. I do think it does impact upon God. but I think it particularly impacts upon other people. Sin is against us, ourselves, it's against other human beings, but ultimately it is against God. Well, I thank the Lord that we have a solution for sin in Jesus Christ. And I hope that you know that. And I hope that, look at the sky. It's absolutely amazing. It's absolutely wonderful. How can an insignificant little person like you and me have any impact? Well, we do. We do have an impact because God has made us in his image and we are here to care for his creation. And, when we sin, we're upsetting the whole order of things. So let's look to Christ to take away our sin, and I will see you tomorrow morning. God bless and bye.